beautiful spring evening and I'm making my way up into the Black Mountains for an early season wild camp with a difference. The aim for tonight is to make my way up onto the tops and find a suitably flat and secluded spot for a comfortable night. This is my conventional wild camping kit and it's virtually all plastic. So I'm going to swap it for this and see if I can still have an enjoyable time out in the hills without freezing my little bits off. For any of you that watched my video on natural navigation, these are lovely examples of trees that owe their shape to the prevailing southwesterly winds. So my route up into the hills today takes the path up the darker gorge or shadowy groove to the right. Despite its accessibility, Black Mountains is still pretty peaceful. Here we are on a glorious April afternoon, late afternoon. It's about an hour before sunset and there's nobody here. Easter holidays as well. That's one of the delights, having a place like this to yourself. Heading towards the top now. We've got about 45 minutes till sunset. Bit brown and peaty, took a good chance to refill the water bottle before we settle in and find camp for the night. It's a nice spot to pitch up for the night. Flat and grassy, no wild pony poo, and it should give me a lovely view of the sunset. That high peak there in the far distance is Penny Van, the highest of the beacons. Tonight I've opted for a very low pitch version of tarp tent, largely because it's going to be quite a cool night as it's clear, and obviously a lower bulk to the shelter will help maintain a bit more warmth, and the small opening will help there as well. So I'm now going to get everything inside and think about a brew. Okay, so the stove's on. Slightly peaty water, but a 4-minute rolling boil will be fine with that. It's getting dark out, and certainly dropping off in temperature a bit, but we're snugged up in the wool blanket and wax cotton over bag. So tonight's tipple of choice is a Mandarin, apple and green tea with guarana tea bag. Should offset the orange colour should offset the brown colour of the water slightly. So a perfectly reasonable question to ask would be, what's the point of this? I've got all this good outdoor kit, why do I feel the need to be out here with a woolen blanket and a pile of wax cotton? And the answer's twofold really. Firstly, of course, there's the environmental side of it now. Obviously, as I've said before, I'm keen to use less plastic in the hills, so this is part of seeing if, you know, for this sort of spring style of wild camping up in the hills, the plastic-free kit can do the job and keep me warm and comfortable and safe. Secondly, of course, there is an economical angle to this. Now, certainly the outdoor industry would sell us many hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of kit for getting out in the hills and doing some wild camping, and I've long been of the belief that you don't need to spend that kind of money to have a good, safe, comfortable and enjoyable time in the hills. So today's kit, or the kit I'm using for tonight in terms of the sleep system, the tarp, etc., is all stuff I've made myself for less than £100, barring weaving the blanket. So I've got the ground sheet and the tarp themselves, which are just wax canvas, which I bought a bulk load of on eBay cheap, so about £3 a yard or so. The balloon bed again is wax canvas with some latex balloons. The blanket is the one thing I didn't make, but that was an army surplus blanket that cost about £20. So actually a pretty economical way of getting out into the hills. But of course tonight will tell whether I stay comfortable and warm and have an enjoyable experience. So currently I'm snug as a bug in a rug, which is obviously great. Let's see how we get on as the temperature drops and we get towards the early hours when it is forecast to drop to close to freezing. So the sun's just come up. We've made it through the night in not a bad night, in truth be told. I woke up probably every 2 or 3 hours, had a little shuffle around. Pretty, I wouldn't say super warm. It was only about 2 degrees last night, so a bit colder than I designed or I expected to use this particular sleep system for. Hence I kept my my coat on and most of my clothes, to be honest. However, it wasn't too bad, a tiny bit chilly, but not cold, and pretty comfortable, truth be told. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Time to pop the some water on and get some porridge on the go. So the weather's about 2 degrees now, down in Talgarth. We're a little bit higher up, so maybe a degree colder, but yeah, we avoided a frost. Even though the water from up here is generally pretty clean, and we've had rain recently, it's always a good idea to boil it for 3-4 minutes. Today's delight, some instant oats with a few nuts and raisins. Now the porridge is on, time to get the coffee on the go. It's a quick walkthrough of the plastic-free sleep system. So underneath I've got a small wax cotton ground sheet. On top of that, my homemade balloon bed. Now this uses natural biodegradable rubber latex balloons to provide a sort of light inflatable bed, which is about the best I could manage without plastics. We then have the inside, inside layers, so silk sleeping bag liner and a wool blanket wrapped around me in the sort of classic blanket sleeping bag style. And finally on the outside of that, a wax cotton overbag. And you know, I'm pretty pleased with that. I didn't really expect this to perform well enough for nights of 1 or 2 degrees as it was last night. I was really sort of looking at a warmer weather system, but with an extra jumper on and leaving my clothes on, I was satisfactorily warm to have a reasonable night's sleep. Now, I haven't got around to my plastic-free pack yet, but everything fits quite nicely into this pack of about 50 litres. There is a very light film of ice on these puddles up here, so it clearly got close to freezing, at least where I was. Grass absolutely alive with birdsong. Here we see the strata of the ancient sandstones that make up the Black Mountains. Of course, further south in the Welsh valleys it's limestone, and at the other end of the Black Mountains near Crickhowell that changes to these sandstones. It is of course lambing season.